Hey guys, Chicken Domain, Debut.com with a Debut.com forecast update. This forecast update effective around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, July 17th, 2017, and starts you off with the latest out of the National Hurricane Center showing 50% chance of development from what has now become 95L Invest east of the islands here. We now have a secondary area of disturbed weather. National Hurricane Center showing a 30% chance of development over the next 5 days. And this is the one that we're going to be watching for possible surf alert, fun surf alert setting up for portions of the U.S. East Coast, setting up for this weekend likely. We'll show you that here in just a few moments. Now, guys, keep in mind that if this doesn't verify, don't shoot the messenger. But here was what it looks like in the latest satellite imagery. Here's 95L Invest, and then here is likely 96L Invest. 95L Invest looks to go over into the Eastern Caribbean with only minimal chances of development. What we are going to be watching for, we're going to go into a buoy watch starting tomorrow, is this is going to send the first little pulse over the top of the islands in here towards the U.S. East Coast, some 8 to 10 second periods, and then a secondary pulse coming behind what is likely 96L Invest. Now, you can see it setting up in the satellite imagery. You kind of see how there's a little hole right in here and then right in here. The forecast is for 95L Invest to enter the Eastern Caribbean over the next 72 hours or so. And again, we likely will not see a named system. Speaking of named system, chances are increasing that we may finish out the month of July with only one tropical cyclone, that was TD4, that developed northeast of Puerto Rico, or to the east-northeast of Puerto Rico last week. And then before we get into August and we start the march towards the peak of season. Switch you over to the latest out of the National Hurricane Center 72-hour surface forecast. Again, you can see possible tropical cyclone coming out of 95L Invest, and then likely 96L Invest. Right-hand portion of your screen, National Hurricane Center moves it up out of the to the northwest, and then once this clears the islands or the island shadow here, nothing to stop that high pressure wind swell combining with the northern extension of the tropical wave, increasing seas in here probably 10 to 12 feet. Switch you over to the latest 36-hour wind wave forecast, and we see seas increasing east of the islands in here about the 8 to 10 foot range. But then if you look up here, go up towards the latitude 30 line, in between latitude 30 and the 20 line, we have seas anywhere from 5 to 10 feet, and that's going to be behind some easterly flow. When we switch you over to the 72-hour wind wave, we see 95L Invest now deep in the Caribbean. Again, likely not a named system, just an area of disturbed weather. We see the wind switch a little bit more out of the east-northeast in here. That's, again, going to continue with a small pulse towards the U.S. East Coast. Then when we switch over to the Ocean Prediction Center, this image is in meters now, and mind you, this is 96 hours out, but over in the bottom portion of the screen, I'm not sure if you can see it or not, this image is in meters. It's showing 3 meters. That sea's increasing into about the 10 to 12 foot range behind some east-southeast swell developing. When we look at the latest 96-hour swell forecast, we see 8 to 10 second periods. Now, this is likely coming from what is now 95L Invest. And then if you look at the bottom portion of the screen, I don't know if you can see where my mouse is kind of circling, you can see another batch of 8 to 10 second swell periods starting to develop in here. And again, once seas get up in here 10 to 12 foot range, it's wide open with only the Bahamas to really block down in here towards South Florida. But it looks like a fun bump coming. We'll show it to you in the latest wind forecast. This is based on the GFS model forecast. This is current. Big high pressure out here, out in the north central Atlantic, spinning clockwise like this, creating northeast winds here, and then stronger east winds into here, and then filtering in here north of Puerto Rico. As we advance the model for you going into Tuesday, you can see that this is where 95L starts to move in towards the Eastern Caribbean, moving you into Wednesday now. You can see the secondary low is now starting to pull up to the northwest. 95L Invest is in here, and the reason why we typically don't see weak systems, once they enter the Eastern Caribbean, the strong easterly trade winds are known to disrupt circulation down at the surface. So that's why it's likely we're not going to see anything develop with 95L Invest. There is a shot, though, for what is likely 96L Invest coming. Take you into Thursday now, and you can see that the winds start to increase in here. That's 25 to 30 knot winds out of the east-southeast, and then a little northeast flow going. So this sets up this weekend coming up for possible fun surf alert. So again, small bump coming from 95L Invest. Another bump coming from what's likely 96L Invest. Will take you into Friday, and you can see that the GFS starts to weaken the system just to the northeast of Puerto Rico. Now, keep in mind, this is exactly where TD4 was last week, and we know what the results were for TD4. Now, negative factor coming in for New England and then south to the Outer Banks. Looks like strong offshore winds developing. This is likely going to kill off anything that may be coming for you. There is a shot for northeast breaks in here. There is some southern hemisphere energy that is also working into the Atlantic. And it's possible that with the combined of what is likely to be 96L Invest, that could give you a bump. But again, the negative factor, strong offshore winds likely to knock it back down. Taking you into Saturday, and then again, light winds along the coast in here. And then we still have the bump working its way in towards the U.S. coast. We're going to be going into a buoy watch starting probably later on tonight or tomorrow to see what 95L Invest is going to put on the buoys. And then obviously we'll be watching what is likely 96L Invest. Stay tuned to our social feeds for our real-time updates. That's on social Instagram, Twitter, and on Facebook. That's all we got for you for now. Stay tuned for the next update.